What's going on? Hey everyone, welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Chaderena. Now, you move into a new place, it's everything you dreamed of. The only problem is, there's a weird smell and you can't find the source. Well, that's the kind of thing you're gonna find on this list of top 10 scariest things found in walls. Like always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the little notification bell, and make sure you stick around for number 1 because you're gonna wanna Google it afterwards. And without waiting any longer, let's get into it. Number 10, a moldy surprise. In the early 2000s, the Bredas family moved into their new home. They were smart though, they had a home inspector come in and make sure everything was safe to live in. But it seemed that the inspector might have missed something. It wasn't long before they moved in that everyone in the family started getting really sick. No matter how many different things they tried, no one could beat this sickness. So they called someone to come into their home and give a second inspection. The inspector found mold. But what was causing the mold? A bunch of dead animals. Hundreds of dead animal carcasses had been wrapped in newspapers and shoved into the walls. The newspapers that the animals were wrapped in were from the 1940s, so that means the animals had been there for almost 60 years. Apparently it's old Dutch witchcraft. You put dead animals in the walls and it's supposed to protect your family from sickness. Obviously it did the exact opposite. Maybe the spell was just too old? Can magic expire? Number 9, snakes. There's a lot of different infestations that can ruin your home. Jan Perilla had one of the worst. She was walking through her apartment one day when she saw 2 small holes in the corner of her room. They were low to the ground next to the carpet. She was pretty pissed who had been smashing holes in her walls. Then she lifted up the carpet and found 2 snakes. She picked up one of those grabby claw things that old people have and she threw the snakes out her window. She didn't really think much of it. I'm sure there was someone walking by that was like, why is it raining snakes? The world is ending, it's time to loot. But then the snakes kept coming. She started finding them in her shower, in her couch, in her kitchen sink. She contacted the building manager and an exterminator came a few times to clear out snakes. They cleared out so many snakes, but they just kept coming. Eventually Jan had to move out of her apartment because she couldn't deal with the endless legless intruders. It's pretty gross. Number 8, a grenade. Usually when a contractor comes to do some renovations, they expect to find like water damage, maybe mouse poop, at best a secret porn stash. But I doubt they wanted to find a live grenade stuck in the wall. This is giving me flashbacks. I've never been to war, I've just seen a lot of Too many times have I been killed with a trick shot grenade or a kid with a noob tube. But anyways, this contractor found a grenade in the wall while doing some work in New Jersey. Like New Jersey needed some more reasons for people not to visit. You might run into the cast of Jersey Shore, or there's live grenades hidden in walls. He called the police, who then called the bomb squad to deal with it. After the grenade had been recovered by the bomb squad, they discovered that it was actually deactivated and there was no explosive material in it. However, the mystery of who owned the grenade and how it ended up in the walls was never solved. Number 7, a murder weapon. Donald Graham hit the jackpot when he got in a relationship with one of the richest women in England, Janet Brown. This was pretty much the biggest sugar mama situation I've ever seen. But I guess Donald was getting a little tired of the relationship because right before the two were supposed to leave on a trip to Paris, he had her transfer $300,000 to his bank account and then he killed her. Oof. But he was really smart about it. He had it set up so postcards would be sent from Paris to Janet's parents to make it look like she had left Donald and ran away with another man. The parents were so convinced that he was able to get close to them and then start siphoning money off of them. After they died, Donald was still stealing from their bank accounts and an accountant noticed and then contacted the police. A full investigation was launched which led to Donald being arrested and convicted for Janet Brown's murder. Then years later, a contractor was tearing down walls at Janet's old apartment and found a bloodied airsoft gun. It's thought that Donald used the airsoft gun to beat Janet to death. I gotta say, if there are any sugar mamas out there who want to pay for my whole existence, I won't murder you. Pinky promise. Number 6. A witch's bottle. Being an archaeologist must be a little weird. You dig up a bunch of old stuff and you never really know what it's gonna be and who's gonna want it. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was an auction a few years ago for Napoleon's penis and it sold for $3,000. Honestly, I was expecting it to be a lot more. But I mean, being important enough that people want to buy your penis after you die, that's pretty legendary. Let's get back on topic. An archaeological dig in Nottingham, England found something really weird in the wall of a castle. Not as valuable as Napoleon's mummified anteater, but equally as gross. It was a witch's potion. What is a witch's potion, you may ask? Well, it was some hair, some fingernail clippings, and someone's pee. The potion was kept in the walls to protect people from sickness. I guess we still have witches today, they're called hippies. They have no idea where the ingredients came from if they were all from the same person, like if it was a scavenger hunt to grab all these pieces from different people and put them together, and frankly, I'm fine with not finding out. Number 5. Secret tapes. A lot of horror movies start with people snooping around a house they just bought, or finding a room in their house that they never knew existed. I'm pretty sure that's how Jumanji starts, and Jumanji is basically a horror movie with upbeat soundtrack. Well, this story is about a guy who was looking through the crawl space in his home when he came across a secret panel that opened up a wall. He looked inside and there was an open safe. Inside the safe was a briefcase. Now this is the part in the movie where you're supposed to put the briefcase back and move on with your life. Let the creepy stuff happen to the next people who own the home. But the guy was too curious and he opened up the case. Inside the case was money from several different countries and a bunch of VHS tapes and a note that said, "Save yourself." Okay, this is the part where you step back and pretend like this didn't happen. You didn't see anything. Well, I mean, you keep the money, but you leave the rest. Well, this guy posted a picture of the whole thing on social media. He was contacted by the police and told to take the images down as they were part of an ongoing investigation. And then the story goes cold. There's no more information about what was on the tapes or what the note was about. And no one really knows what happened to the guy who opened the briefcase. My guess is that they killed him and replaced him with a clone. Very clean. Number 4. Cold hard cash. Sometimes you get lucky with money, like contractor Bob Kitts, when he found almost $200,000 in Depression era money in the walls of a home he was renovating. He obviously was very surprised. He let the homeowner know, and the homeowner was also surprised. He had no idea he was sitting on a bunch of cash. Then the homeowner offered Kitts 10% of the money as like a finder's fee, but he refused. He wanted a bigger chunk. So the two went to court over who got to keep what. The case is obviously a little unusual, so it got picked up by the media. Eventually got back to the rich dude who had originally hid the money in the walls. When everything was said and done, Bob Kitts only walked away with a few grand in his pocket. This guy should have followed the golden rule of finding money. Always steal it. Number 3. Baby mummy. If there's anything this list is teaching you, it's that if you're doing renovations in your home, be prepared. For what? Well, it could literally be anything. Like when this couple was doing renovations on their home back in 1850s Paris, and they found a dead baby in their walls. Not the best day. And their day got even worse when they went to the police, and then the police arrested them for murdering the baby. That's a tough one to get out of. You can't be like, that's not my dead baby. I just found that dead baby. It's Paris in 1850. There's dead babies everywhere. Luckily, a doctor was able to determine the time of the baby's death by studying the insects that were living inside the baby's mummified body. It was found that the baby had been there for a super long time, way before the couples moved in. Back then, France smelled so bad that you wouldn't even notice if a dead baby was living in your walls. But 2. Cameras. When you rent an Airbnb, what's your biggest fear? That the owner has hidden a bunch of cameras in the place to watch you sleep and do a bunch of other stuff that you don't want ever recorded on camera? Well, just so you know, this has happened before, and it's probably gonna make you feel super uncomfortable. Let's go straight to Japan in 2016. A couple moves into their new place they just rented. It's owned by a Japanese millionaire, Masaki Imata. After they were all settled into their new place, they found a few articles online about how this rich dude likes to hide cameras in the apartments he owns. So they went searching through their place and found some. Then the police got involved and they found a whole system of cameras in several different properties, along with an evil lair he had with a big screen TV to watch people. Super creepy. If this happened to me, I wouldn't be worried about him having footage of me naked or going to the bathroom or something. I would be worried of him having footage of me having one of those fake arguments where you're like, yeah, I would have said that, and then would have said this, and yeah, that would have showed him. That's way more embarrassing. Number 1. Herman Mudgett. To top off our list, we have one of the most famous serial killers in American history. Herman Mudgett, aka Dr. Henry Howard Holmes, was a serial killer in the late 1800s. His weapon of choice? A giant hotel. He purchased a pharmacy and then turned it into an elaborate hotel. It had rooms with secret entrances in the walls, staircases that would lead nowhere, and windowless rooms, as well as trap doors to slide dead bodies into the basement. He would sneak into people's rooms through these secret entrances, chloroform them, strangle them. Some rooms were set up so he could pump poison gas into them. After he was arrested, he admitted to killing over 200 people. Woo! Well, that's our list. If you have any creepy stories about stuff you found in your walls, let us know in the comments below. Like always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Until next time, I've been Chaderena, and I'm going to start ripping apart my walls because I'm broke! Bye.